Welcome to Ranger Stories. My name is Tennyson E. Stead. I'm the creator of Jump Rangers. And this is the show where I read things that I'm writing in the Jump Rangers universe and probably edit and discuss them for your viewing pleasure. Today, we are reading Jump Rangers, a Game Called Conquest, Chapter 11. If you'd like to catch up on previous episodes of Ranger Stories, you can find these episodes on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/jumprangers. Before we begin, I'm just going to drop the peak on my audio a little bit. All right, let's begin. I swear that I will do everything I can for the human race, and that I will live by the code of the Jump Ranger until I turn 18 years old. Just speaking those words is easy enough to do, but those words can only be spoken on the surface of planet Earth. Finding your way home from some other corner of the Saurian Empire, learning the skills to survive and succeed as a Jump Ranger, climbing out of Alien City through the air cans into a ruined human metropolis so vast that even the bubbling structures of the Saurian horde have not swallowed it. Those things are harder to do. Once you've done those things, you don't forget them. Saying the oath is easy. Taking the oath will change your life. When you step out of Alien City, when you actually see the world that once was ours, makes you think about what could have been if the Saurian horde hadn't stolen our future from us. More than anything, it makes you want to take that future back. Before you take the oath, give yourself some time. Look around. Find something important to swear by. I'm going to tilt this down just a little bit. To this day, I remember the place where I took my oath. Following the rail systems that supported the lost city with transportation, I found my way along a dirty, polluted river to the coast. Maybe a mile before the beach, the rails ran down into a tunnel that hadn't yet collapsed. Following the tunnel, I led my team into an observation station on the seafloor of what was once a large harbor. Outside the yellowed observation windows, which had miraculously stood up to the centuries between then and now, all manner of seacraft were littering the bottom of the waterway. Down there, everything was quiet and loud at the same time. All you could hear was the rush of water over the hull of the ancient structure and the gentle creak of the building's frame. From above, the sun shone down through the murky yellow of the harbor water. Once, according to the pictures, these oceans were blue. Other planets have blue waterways, so it's not a hard thing for me to believe. Obviously, it's the factories and the mining that the Saurians brought with them that have made such a mess of our planet, but down here at least you couldn't actually hear them. Some people never find their way inside a habitat where they can't hear the Saurians or the loom doing their thing outside. I think just where they can't hear the Saurians or the loom. Some people never find their way inside a place. We'll just say a place where they can't hear the Saurians or the loom. It's a simple statement. Even on Planet Battleground or Planet Link, inside an installation that's been built into solid rock, you're going to hear the Dragon Patrols scorching the air on their way past. Every now and again, you're going to hear the rumbling of nearby mining operations blasting their way into the rock for ore. Down here under the bay, all I could hear was the creaking of human-made things and the hush of nature's gentle efforts to wear it all down. Being surrounded by old human things. I like that, old human things. So, we're going to use that creaking of old human things. Being surrounded by stuff that people built. Being surrounded by stuff, so down here under the bay, all I could hear was the creaking of old human things and the hush of nature's gentle efforts to wear it all down. Being surrounded by stuff that people built, it was possible to think that maybe we had a place in this galaxy of our own. If we were living under the feet of the Saurian horde, if we were always in the way, if they send their exterminators out to kill us, it's only because they've taken away the place where we belonged. Maybe they have a right to do that. Maybe might makes right by some crazy logic. If that's true, though, then I have a right to take it back. I have a right to make my own way in the galaxy. Whether or not the Saurians like what I do about it doesn't really have to be my problem. All of these things were clear to me down in the ruins of that old underwater observation post. Peering out, I could see the rotting hulls of sunken ships and boats, rocking gently in the tide. Astonishingly, none of them had landed on my little underwater building when they sank. Maybe this quiet little place had lasted all this time for a reason. Usually, I'm not the one to go for the Psy Ranger spirit chatter, but maybe this place survived as long as it did so that one day I could find it. Anyway, that's when I took my oath. While I didn't know it at the time, the thoughts I was having down there, the thoughts I was having down there would come back up again and again in my actions as a jump ranger. Looking back, I don't necessarily agree or think that nobody should care about the Saurians. If nobody cares, if nobody starts thinking about them as anything but a problem to be solved, then war becomes the only option. Thinking that way is how Admiral Paxis became the man he is. That's not the kind of grown up I want to be. What's good and true, though, is the fact that I need to do what's right for me. I need to go my own way, just like anybody does. If I make my life choices based on how the bullies of the galaxy are going to feel about it, whether those bullies are Rexors in the Saurian Horde or admirals in the United Colonial Navy, nothing's ever going to get done. When I know what I have to do, then it's time to jump. One thing about me is that I'm always pretty sure that I know what I have to do. Now that I think about it, that's probably why I never take time to just hang out. Rangers, I need to work on my care rule. By the time Scrap stepped off the mothership, they knew how to handle themselves like a jump ranger. Sure, they had some skills of their own when we started training. By the end, they knew how to get around the inside of a Saurian mothership without the benefits of being a tiny physics-defying space mouse. Helping people plan and stage defense against a Saurian extermination squad, or scouting a new world, or smuggling food and water onto a mothership are things that Scrap never really had to learn. Now they'd learned them. Walking onto the surface of planet Earth, Scrap had all the training they would need to go high and go far. When Scrap saw our planet for the first time looking out over the wreckage of an enormous city that stretches from one side to the other of an island we used to call Japan, blanketed by the corrosive exhaust of Saurian machines and corroded by toxic storms, they looked confused. Is this how it's always looked? Ha! No, Scrap. Once the waters and the skies were blue. Once upon a time, these buildings were new. Human beings thrived here. When this was our home, we almost did this to ourselves. Our oceans rose, our people suffered. But we were just starting to figure things out when the Saurian motherships darkened the skies over cities just like this one. What you're looking at has happened in the last 300 years since the Saurian invasion. This would have happened to Mist if we hadn't brought the spore bugs. This would have happened to. What's that? No, it's okay. That's Luna the dog. Visitors to my Tekker 10 gaming channel know Luna the dog all too well. And I think we've had Luna on stream here once or twice. Lou was on Meta? She was on the meta game. Yes. No, Scrap, not quite, because, you see, they're not. So this would have happened to Mist if we hadn't brought the spore bugs. No, Scrap, not quite, because, you see, they're not done yet. When the planet has been stripped clean of metals, right down to the iron core, when the water is gone, when there's nothing left to take, that's when we get to see what a Saurian world looks like after they're finished with it. This right here, this is just another day on planet Earth. Nodding, Scrap seemed to understand. Before meeting the Sarge and I, Scrap wasn't given to nodding as a sign of understanding or consent. In that moment, it hit me that maybe we were rubbing off on them. No humans live on planet Earth anymore, but there's a colony on planet Mars called Hawk's Nest where people keep an eye on things at home. Just like on planet Link, there's a handful of safe habs scattered throughout the ruins around Alien City, where pilots from Hawk's Nest can pick up and transport people coming to the system. Apart from those, the Jump Rangers keep a few habs of our own where we store gear and weapons for rangers and recruits who are coming to take their oaths. Caches is what they're called. Or cache. How is it pronounced? Cache. Getting into a ranger cache, we put our hands on a pair of scram packs. Latching onto the back of any ranger's jumpsuit, an Icarus scram pack is basically an engine with wings. Very fast, very tight to corner in if you know how to use them. Space ready, so long as you can seal up your jumpsuit. If the Sarge and I were going to show Scrap what Earth looked like, we needed to be able to get around. Squeezing Scrap into Sarge's helmet with him. The Sarge made sure Scrap had a safe place to sit out the Scram Pack's G-forces before squeezing Scrap into his helmet. This is a little bit messy. Squeezing Scrap into his helmet, the Sarge made sure the Nomad had a safe place to sit out the Scram Pack's G-forces before sealing up his suit. Checking the Scram Packs over, I tugged at the Sarge's environmental seals. Then he checked mine for me. Clipping into our Scram Packs, we climbed out of the ruins, launched ourselves into the shallow canyons that stretch between the city's buildings, and rocketed through the ruined city. If you can imagine that stretch between the buildings, we don't need that. And rocketed through the ruined city. If you can imagine what it feels like to actually be a Pegasus starfighter, then you can imagine what it's like to fly an Icarus. Nobody but the Rangers gets to use them, because nobody else has the reflexes you need to do. Because nobody else has the reflexes. We'll just say that. Because nobody else has the reflexes. Screaming out across the water, we skimmed the ocean surface before flying inland across the wastelands. Beyond the China Waste, I knew there was a range of mountains that touches the very clouds themselves. Rust-colored rain poured down over the plains of the China Waste, running into rivers that carried the red waters back out to sea. Yellow and red clouds hung low over the mountains, churning in the high winds. We rocketed up along the mountainside and scrambled into the skies above. From above the atmosphere, our homeworld looks like a swirling ball of earth tones and gray. Stained, dirty snow gives the southern pole a recognizable cap. Something about it has always struck me as beautiful and eerie, but it doesn't look anything like the pictures. In the pictures, Earth is green and blue. Rich soil and sturdy rock and plenty of growth cover the land masses, which look huge and distinct when I compare those pictures to the muddy ball that was floating in space before us. If you can imagine what Mars would look like if it was covered in runoff and wastewater, you'd have a pretty good idea of what to expect from Earth. To this day, there's plenty of space stations and old junk flying around in orbit above the planet, finding ourselves a satellite to anchor to just to make sure we didn't get hit by some random piece of space junk while we were busy talking. We explained the oath to Scrap. Sitting in the Sarge's helmet, looking down at the Earth, Scrap watched our homeworld spinning around and around beneath them. Finally, Scrap turned around and looked the Sarge in the eye. With Scrap being so close to the Sarge's actual face, the conversation was a little awkward for the Sarge, but Scrap didn't seem to mind. Again, it seems the Mistlings have no concept of personal space. For hundreds of years, the Congress told us that the price of bringing the spore to Planet Mist was too high. I wish they had seen what I'm seeing. To be honest, Scrap, I'm just impressed the Mistlings held out against the Saurian horde for as long as you did. For Earth, the war was over before it started. You fought them off for hundreds of years. Much as that war didn't go the way you hoped, those other guilds bought you the time you needed to find the spore in the first place. Planet Mist still had plants and animals and all kinds of things going on there. Things could have been much worse. What about planet Earth? What is left to save? Most colonies have a seed vault. Most colonies have genetic samples and records and all kinds of things we can use to... Look, we can't put things back the way they were, but maybe we can get this planet fighting for its life again. Anyway, I think we should try. So do I. Thanks, Scrap. Are you ready to leave? Like I told you, we should wait until just before dawn. When the undersores are cold and sleepy, they tend to miss things. That's always the best time to sneak into the air cans. We don't need the air cans to go where I'm taking you. Probably that's the moment I should have realized that things were about to change in big ways for the Sarge and I. After everything we'd been teaching Scrap, after how hard they worked, and after how well they'd learned their lessons, I'd gotten comfortable with the idea that Jump Rangers and Nomads maybe weren't so different. Suddenly, the reality that we were dealing with an alien space mouse came crashing back down on me. Suddenly, we were teleporting to some other planet as if that were a perfectly normal thing to do. If human beings could do that, would we even need the Jump Rangers to survive in the colonies? No wonder the Saurians couldn't handle the Mislings the way they handled us. For human beings, the huge amounts of space between our colonies is one of the biggest challenges we face. If that space suddenly had no meaning, our whole game would be different. Anyway, no, we can't leave just yet. We need to put these scram packs back where we got them. Somebody else will need them. Someone else will need them. We need to make sure they're back where they're supposed to be. With no further warning or discussion, the sergeant and I felt suddenly stretched and squashed at the very same time. And then we were back in the hab with the ranger cache. Picking myself up off the floor, I took a moment to figure out what had just happened to me. Smiling, the Sarge looks me in the eye and sticks his hand out for some help getting up. With an excited gleam in his eye, he says, "This is going to be super." And that is the end of chapter 11. I did say super. This is fun. This is the first time that I've read a chapter that's not available for free on the website, on the Patreon. The first 10 chapters of A Game Called Conquest are free to read. This is the first one that's only available to read through the $5 Patreon subscription. And there's more chapters. There's I think we're up to chapter 16 or 17. We're trucking along. And I'm going to get the book finished this year. I'm feeling very confident about that. It's going well. There's other streams. Thursdays at 5 p.m. Pacific on this very channel, we have the Mission Files, which is when I sit down and I write content for the Jump Rangers tabletop role-playing game on stream. Until now, it's been one-shot adventures. I think I'm going to broaden that out a little bit. And because there's other content I want to be writing, and I want to create some time for that, basically. And then on Saturdays at 1:30 Pacific p.m., we have Metagame, which is a stream where Jump Rangers devs play Jump Rangers, and it's been going really well. And if you haven't seen the game so far, you can catch up on YouTube. YouTube.com/Jump Rangers. And speaking of YouTube, on Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific, I'm going to start a stream on my own YouTube, Tennyson E, Stead, where I break down a movie concept live on stream. And I think there's going to be a little bit of a party trick to it where people can suggest really obnoxiously impossible seeming movie concepts, and we'll break down how it can actually work as a movie and how it would actually be good to watch. Because that's something I'm particularly good at. And if I have a party trick, I should do it on the internet. That's what I think. And I'm also streaming Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 10 a.m. on twitch.tv/Techer10. And I'm usually streaming Star Citizen. So that's just me playing games. You can come hang out. There's a lot of good stuff going on with Jump Rangers right now. We've got Federico working on concept art. We've got I just finished updating the Undersoar Alliance as a 2.0 Jump Rangers supplement. So I edited it for content. I edited it for rules and balance, and now it fits in nicely with all the other stuff that's going on in the Jump Rangers universe. It's good. Yeah, that's what I've got for this stream. So don't be a stranger. And Jump Rangers is free to play. You can get the book, the core book. All the text in the core book is available on the Patreon for free, along with the first 10 chapters of the book we're reading here. And I invite anybody to check it out. It's $5 a month to have access to all the other content, so please support Jump Rangers. We need all the help we can get right now. And I'll see everybody Thursday. Go high and go far, Rangers. Thank you for watching.